you're building a startup or an app using AI, one of the most difficult things to get right is your brand identity. And this can mean the difference between the purple gradients that have been given to you by the AI and a professional and polished looking brand that looks like it's ready to get thousands of customers. And so today I'm going to show you how to design a $10,000 brand identity using just AI so that you can do this for yourself in under an hour. If you don't know me, my name is Chris, and for the last 15 years I've been designing apps and advising startups on product and design. And with that said, let's start designing our $10,000 brand identity.
Build great products. Build great products.
So let's design our $10,000 brand identity using AI, and I'm going to time this so you can see exactly how long this is going to take me to do, so that I can show you how to design your $10,000 brand identity for your startup or your app in under an hour. And I'm going to show you the timer when I finish up here so you can see exactly how long it's taken me. So the first thing I want to do here, so this is Recraft, and this is where we're going to be building our brand identity. But the first thing that I want to do here is kind of help you understand, like, what is the $10,000 brand? What does it look like? And so I've gone to this website, which is a design studio called Off Menu. They do really, really incredible work. And I think the value of the value of the design work that something like Off Menu and other brand identity agencies do is really, really worth the money. But you don't need something as good as this to actually get your startup and your app idea launched. If I come down to the pricing section and go to custom, for example, here, which is what you would do for a brand identity project if you wanted to work with Off Menu, this starts at $20,000. So what we're going to do here is we're going to create a brand identity that's half as good for $10,000, and that's going to give us an amazing foundation to actually launch our app and get paying customers and start looking like a professional product and a professional software business, basically. I'm going to go onto this example that they've got on their website. This is for a company called Flex, a bold, founder-friendly identity built for trust and growth. This is like a finance product, basically, for new founders, for new businesses. It's called Flex, and I want to kind of cover off, show you an idea of the sort of stuff and design quality that you would be getting for $20,000 here. So if I do, so you can see that they've got this primary color with a logo mark on the left hand side. They've got these kind of diagrams where they show spacing between letters or whatever, which is kind of what every brand identity agency does. I bet people still do that. I'm not sure what purpose it serves other than to see they've done some spacing on the letters. We've got the logo mark here. We've got a bunch of custom illustrations that is specific to this brand identity, so I'm going to show you how you can do that with ChatGPT. And we're also going to use Nano Banana for a lot of the brand identity work as well, which is the new image model from Google, to actually create a bunch of this stuff from scratch. You can see here there's a couple of basic layouts. We've got the custom illustrations on the right hand side, a custom icon set here, so another illustration here that they've got, a color palette, and you've got ideas of how to use the logo, safe space, typography, identity system, that sort of stuff, basically. To break that down, here's your example of Flex. So this is my list of what you would need for your brand identity. If you're doing a brand identity that's half as good as something like Off Menu, just by yourself, using AI in a day or an hour, or however long it's going to take you to do it, you basically need a logo mark, a couple of fonts, so your heading and your body font. You need a display font for your heading, which can have a bit more embellishment and stuff on it, and then you need kind of a more standard readable font for your body copy. You need a primary brand color, you need a color palette, some custom illustrations and custom icons maybe. You need to have some consistent styles, so this is your lines, your weights, your spacing, etc. If you come over to here, you can see that the icon style, the weights of these lines and the style with the rounded edges is very similar to the weights of the lines on the illustration here. And so they're consistent in their style. That's why this whole thing feels cohesive and works together. And it's also using the same color palette here as well. And you also want to have alignment with your target customer. This is something that is really overlooked when when people create brand identities or do design for their app that they're vibe coding or their startup idea. So where do we start with this? Well, first we want to identify who is our customer and how do we want our brand to feel, and then where is a good example that we can kind of steal inspiration from. And so the example we're using here is Flex. let's think about our $10,000 brand that I'm going to do in this video. So this is going to be for a finance app for first-time business owners. So they're young, they're overwhelmed, they're stressed, they're confused. We want to help those people get their finances like set up in the correct way for their business. So how do we want it to feel? Well, we need it to feel It needs to feel approachable and friendly, but it still needs to be professional enough because it's financial services. But the approachable and friendly angle will basically like help us get in the door with people who are feeling like everything is a little bit too serious. We kind of want to go the other way. The example that we're using is Flex. So I wanted to cover off one more thing before we actually get stuck into the work, which is the details is what makes the design work. Details is where the main details is where the main kind of heavy lifting, I feel, with a lot of design is actually done. It's about having plenty of white space, having the right letter spacing of your fonts, getting your layouts consistent and having good spacing in your layouts, having good hierarchy, which I spelled wrong here, having good hierarchy for information on the page for your typography, having complementary colors, not necessarily complementary, but like a color palette that is cohesive. So let's say like cohesive colors, and then small touches to add that professional kind of feeling to it. So animations, transitions, this is stuff that you can do in Lovable or Cursor or Claude Code or whatever tool you're kind of using to build your app or your startup. And then a good, strong font pairing. These details all add up to make the difference to what is a really, really good design. So let's get started actually working on our brand. So first, I'm going to go over to ChatGPT and we're just going to say, can you help me come up with a name for my new startup? We're building an app that helps young business owners get their finances in order with AI, because you've got to have AI in there, of course. It has to be an AI with an AI agent. It's got to be an AI agent. AI agent, I want it to feel approachable and friendly, and the name should be one short word that ties into these themes. Give me a list of 20 options. So let's see what ChatGPT comes back with here. So, do we like any of these? Nestle, Flowly, Clara, Sprout. I kind of like Sprout, even though it sounds a bit weird. Mira, Savvy, Fintro, Brio, Aligner, Navi, Bloom. I like Bloom. Sounds really good. Let's go with Bloom. You might want to do like a couple of rounds of iterations here to like actually get a good name for this, but I'm going to go with Bloom to start off with. So we're going to call this app Bloom, and that's going to be the name for our app. What I'm going to do in Recraft as well, so I've created this new project, is I'm just going to click on style, and what you can do is you can drag and drop images in here to create a style that it will kind of follow as a style guide in Recraft. So let's do that for using Flex as the example here. So I'm just going to take a screenshot of some of these parts of the brand identity. This is going to give us this might give us like a different color palette. This might give us like a similar color palette here, but like we're just going to go with this for now. So let's drop these into Recraft. So I absolutely would not recommend just straight up stealing a brand identity. What you want to do is use this as inspiration. We're not trying to copy exactly what Flex has done here and what Off Menu has done. What we're trying to do is we're basically trying to create a rough kind of guide as to what we want to create, what our kind of style is. So let's see if we can test this. We might want to add in some different, we might want to add in a color palette here. In fact, let's go over to this color palette generator here. I'm just going to sign into my account and let's generate a color palette that we like. What I want to do is I'm going to create a color palette that is similar to Flex in the way that it's kind of constructed. So we're going to go with like a primary color and then some secondary lighter colors and then a dark kind of black color that we can use for text and stuff, and we'll have shades of that, but that's kind of the primary color palette, and we're going to have a white in there as well. So our main color here, let's just keep generating until we get a color that we like. I really like this Tiffany blue color, so let's lock that in. Let's lock that, and then let's continue generating other colors to get a secondary color that we think works with this. I am going to go with this. Actually, no, let's keep going. Let's go with this violet color. That's quite nice. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do these manually. So let's go from this one to create a dark kind of color for our text. So that's going to be this. Let's create a lighter, like more kind of subtle version of this color, which is going to be this. And then let's create a more subtle version of this color here, which is going to be this one. So this is our brand identity. I actually kind of want to go a little bit more blue here in this. So I'm going to go to that, and then I'm going to edit this one to that. There we go. Okay. Let's move these around so that this looks a little bit better. So this is our color palette for our brand identity. Let's screenshot this, and we can drop this into the style generator in Recraft. Go back to Recraft, we're going to put this style image in this color palette in here. So let's add a style prompt here, and I'm going to go back to ChatGPT. We're going to start a new chat. I'm actually going to drop in an image from Flex here. So let's drop in this one here, and we'll go to ChatGPT, and let's say describe the style of this image as a prompt I could use to generate more imagery in this style. Ignore the colors, just talk about the design style. So this is hopefully going to give us a prompt. I should have maybe specified the length of the prompt that I wanted here. Okay, here we go. Minimalist modern graphic design with bold sans serif typography, clean geometric shapes, simple line art illustrations, flat layout with strong contrast between. Okay, that seems very good. Professional yet approachable style with emphasis on clarity, simplicity, and forward-thinking branding. Let's paste that into our prompt here, and we're just going to generate a test image just to see what this looks like. And then we can save this style if this works. I might want to like remove the background of this image so that it doesn't have the I'm not super happy with that. Quick break in the episode to talk about my community for people who are building apps with AI and want to actually launch their app and get real customers. It's called the AI App Builders Academy. So if you're building an AI app with Bolt or Lovable or Cursor or any of these AI tools, and you actually want to make a profit and launch your app, then this is the community for you. Inside, you'll get access to a community of other builders, as well as my 30-day app course, helping you go from idea to app to a profitable launch in just 30 days. You'll also get access to weekly calls with live workshops and training, as well as all of my startup frameworks and resources, and 24/7 support from the community to help you answer any questions or problems you're having with building and launching your AI app. So if you're building an app with AI and you actually want to make a profit and launch your app, then head over to school.com/AI apps to find out more. I'll see you there. So I'm just going to put in here logo with modern sans serif with these two images and then generate a test image. I'm actually not too worried about the test image that's being generated here because we're going to choose the specific image generation model that we want to use after this. Okay, it's okay. Let's save the style and see how it goes, and then let's start generating our brand identity. So the first thing I want to choose here is actually the font. For some reason I like choosing fonts first. I think a lot of designers do the same. What I'm going to do is I'm going to say, so we're going to copy Google Fonts over to ChatGPT, and we're going to say like, find me some professional sans serif fonts that are more geometric from Google Fonts that I could use for my finance, fintech brand targeted at first-time founders and young business owners. Suggests 5 options. Okay, so let's have a look. So we've got Poppins, DM Sans, Fig Tree, Coom Sans, and Orbitron. Let's have a look at them. I use DM Sans all the time, so I know it really, really well, and I've used Poppins a lot before as well. What we can do is we can just come over to here and then put in some text that we want to test. So this is going to be, what's the name of our app? It's called Bloom. So I want to use a thicker weight here, because if you go back, if you look at Flex, this is quite a bold font. It's like slightly less bold for the headings, and then it's a lighter weight for the body copy as well. So that's what we're going to do. So let's see what Poppins looks like. I'm just going to increase the size of this. I'm going to go for maybe this one here, medium or probably semi-bold. And I think, to be honest, we can use Poppins for our body copy as well, just in a lighter weight. Don't be afraid to do that. It doesn't always have to be two different fonts for your body copy. You can actually just keep it the same font, and that's a really easy way of just keeping it consistent. So we're just going to use Poppins for our brand font. So let's put in some text here. It's going to be Bloom. We're going to go here, select Poppins from the list. Let's make that bigger. 300. I'm going to do that as semi-bold, and I want to reduce the letter spacing here to that. There's our logo. Okay, let's put our color palette in here as well, so that we've got a reference for this, and we can already see like it's starting to shape up here. So we've got this create image on the left here. I'm going to select external models. So if you just click on this, you can choose the model that you want to use. Let's use Nano Banana here, and I'm going to add the image of this to kind of like use this as inspiration. So let's put that back into Recraft here. I'm also going to go to ChatGPT, and what I want to do here is like, for a finance brand targeted at young business owners and first-time founders, what would be a good logo mark for my brand identity? The app is called Bloom. Abstract growth symbol, modern floral motif, a seed to success, or a monogram. Style the B as a monogram, pixelated or dot-based flower symbol. Oh, I love that idea. Let's do that. So okay, let's go create image, and let's go let's create. Actually, let's do this. Let's do this in Recraft. So what I want to do here is like create me a logo mark for of a pixelated flower in black on a transparent background. Let's actually use this color 4C3B for, well, let's use the black here, 232023. There we go, that's the hex code for that. Let's do 2 images, see what it comes up with. I'm going to click generate. Let's see what happens. Oh, that's nice. I like that. Let's create a frame here where we can like have our brand identity. I'm going to change the background color to this, our primary color. We're going to put the Bloom. Scale this down, and then we're going to take this logo. I'm going to make this the same, this text is going to be the same color as this, which is not the exact same color, but it's getting close. I want to like remove the background on this, so let's remove the background, and then we can put it onto this frame. I'm actually going to, what we can do here is I'm going to vectorize this as well, which is going to change it into an SVG that we can use, and that is much better generally than a PNG for something like a logo, because it will be scalable. And then I can change the color of this as well. So let's change the color to this color. Perfect. Let's scale that down. Here we go. And I'm going to put this next to this. I'm actually going to maybe generate a different option for the logo mark here, but let's get moving on like some of the other elements here so that we can do this in under an hour. So that's our brand. The spacing on this is like slightly off, so you can see it looks like the two O's are too close together compared to the rest of the letters. So we might want to like tweak that a little bit later, but for now, like this is a solid starting point. I actually kind of want to tweak this to be a little bit more saturated of a color as well. So we're going to do that color instead. Let's update our color palette. So this is now, let's go back to this, and we're going to change this one to this. And then I'm also going to update this one to be a little bit brighter as well. And let's grab a screenshot of this and put this updated color palette back into our Recraft file here. So this is our updated color palette. So let's go back to Figma, and I can kind of tick off the things that we've done here. So we've got a logo, we've got a logo mark, we've got two fonts, we've got primary brand color, we've got a color palette. Next we need to do custom illustrations, custom icons. And so let's go back over here. So let's do some custom icons. And what I'm going to do is like pixelated icons, and then also like some pixelated illustrations. I think that would be super cool to kind of like tie into this. Let's get a style that we like. Let's just have a quick look on Dribble for some illustrations. I want to go with something that's very simple. I want to go for something very simple because I want it to work in this kind of pixelated style. So I don't want it to be like overly complex. I really like the shading on this one. These half-tone illustrations is very cool. I'm not sure that's going to work in the kind of pixel style, but we could try that direction if the pixel kind of style doesn't work. Let's go for maybe something more like this. Let's go for this. So I'm going to copy that image. So let's select Nano Banana. Let's add this image. So that's added in our image reference here. We've selected Nano Banana as the one that we want to use. Let's create an illustration of a busy founder. Let's create a simple illustration of a busy founder in a pixelated style. In black. Let's generate that and see what it comes up with. We might want to add more detail into this prompt to make it a little bit better. Just around like maybe the objects that the founder would be holding, or that's just generated like the exact same image that I've attached. So that is not working correctly. Let's use this as the in the image context. I feel like the way that it's referencing this is actually relying too much on the attachment that I've put in here. So let's copy this prompt over to this one instead and generate an image here. I'm also going to try this in ChatGPT because I think ChatGPT is really good at copying styles. So let's put our bloom icon into here, and let's put the prompt into here as well. Okay, so let's see what ChatGPT can come back with as well. Okay, that's looking all right. So that's looking pretty good. So let's start to like add these to our, let's say, remove background. We want to do it like a little bit less cartoony than this. I'm gonna duplicate this frame down here so that we can add this image to this frame and just use a different color on this frame from the brand. So let's choose a color here. Let's go with this color. Let's put this on here as an example. So we're kind of like building up our brand identity here. We also want to have some more simple icons in this kind of like pixel style, like similar to the logo. So let's do that. I'm just going to add some more frames here so that we can add some detail to our branding. And then we can create some mockups for these as well, which would be super nice. I'm going to do some typography stuff on this one here. So let's put this as this color. So one really good principle when you're designing brands like this is just to stick really closely to your color palette. If you need to use white, use this light color here instead. If you need to use black, use your dark color here, or use this color here. This will keep things really consistent, and it might seem like a very limited color palette, but what you can do off the back of this is actually start to do shades of these colors that kind of like match tonally. So if I put this here and then I add a background color, let's go for this one, and then basically your lighter shade of that would be like this. and then you create a scale of colors off the back of that for each of these to give you a bit more flexibility if you need to. What I'm going to do here is I'm just going to do a heading. So we're going to do the heading slightly less thick. I'm going to do this at 120. Let's say this is the heading style. I'm going to do this like a little bit less close together for the text as well. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do a body copy style here as well. Let's do 64, and we're going to go with regular for the body copy. So this is an example of the body copy that we're going to use, and the body copy will also be a little bit, let's keep it as that color for now. What you could also do here for the color is to make it a little bit less opaque. So change this down to like 80. And that will give like a bit of hierarchy to your headings and your body copy. We're going to reduce the letter spacing on this as well to make it a little bit wider. And generally, like, the smaller you go with text, the wider you want to get. So let's try and do another version of this and like make it simpler. This is the alternate that it gave me, which is too complex. I like this one. Young person carrying a laptop. Let's generate this, and let's go back and see what ChatGPT did. This is kind of cool, but it's pulled in the icons around the outside, and it's not. I don't mind it. It's okay. It's not great. Actually, this should be in a pixelated style. So let's do this. ChatGPT is very good at copying image styles. So actually, instead of using Nano Banana here, let's use ChatGPT. Let's use ChatGPT 4.0 medium. And let's say like in exactly this style. That will basically like make it match like very close to the image. And let's generate some more images here. I don't know if it's also using this second image here as a reference. So in the meantime, let's just go back to our list and see what we've got here. So we've got some custom illustrations, and then we need to do custom icons now. So let's do the custom icons. And for this, I'm not 100% sure on that. What I want to do is like take this exact style. So one way that I like to work with ChatGPT for stuff like this is just by using a reference image here. Set it to create image and just go create an image in exactly this style, but change the subject to a young person holding a laptop, and then see what ChatGPT comes up with. ChatGPT I found is the best at matching a style. So once you've got a style that you like, you can then like get it to recreate that for lots of different types of subject matter. So that's our kind of style guide. I'm going to delete that one from here. For our image, and what I'm going to do here is I'm going to try and create an icon. So let's change this to Nano Banana again, just because we're trying to use that as much as possible here. I'm going to attach the logo reference, and I'm going to say in exactly this style, create an icon of a. And what icons are we going to want to use for the website? We might want to use, it's a finance product, so we might want to do something around like money of a $sign. So let's do that and see what it comes back with. We can also do that on ChatGPT because it's really good at creating things in the same style. So I'm also going to go over to ChatGPT again, and we're going to say in the style of this logo, create an icon in exactly this style for a $sign. Let's go back to this one. Okay, so it's done like a very similar image with like holding a laptop. I do like this version as well. Let's do it as like something slightly different. So let's say like in exactly the style, change the subject to one person waving hello. And we can remove the word exactly if we want it to be a little bit looser. Let's send that off. ChatGPT also like quite strongly emphasizes the chat history. So if you don't get what you're looking for here, you can just create a new chat to start from scratch. Okay, that's not too bad. That's not too bad as an icon. Let's keep that. We're like, actually that one is way better. This one is way better. That's exactly what I'm going for here. Let's remove the background for this, and then let's drag that onto this. I'm also going to vectorize this as well, so that will become a vector. We can then export that as an icon that we can use in our app and on our website. I'm going to change the background color to this dark color. So we're basically trying to create like a little icon set here. Let's duplicate this. Let's extract the prompt from this image. This is like too detailed of a prompt for this. So we're just going to do this again. Vector art. So let's do like an icon in exactly this style, but of a home. Let's just do that. I'm going to also duplicate this again here and start to do loads of these. Let's go back to this one. So that's really good. I really like that one, but let's stick with the one that we've got in Recraft. Okay, so we've got another image there that we can use. It's a bit too similar. I don't know why that has created this in that style. That is just not correct at all. Let's use this in ChatGPT. Let's just screenshot this, take this back into ChatGPT, start a new chat, drop this in here, and let's do create an icon in this exact style but of a home symbol. Let's remove the background from that. So we've got another option of, I'm going to vectorize this one as well because we want to be able to use that as an SVG. Let's see what ChatGPT is coming back with on the home icon. Let's wait for that to be done. Let's go back over to our list. So we're now generating custom icons. Let's create a mockup. So let's use Nano Banana. We'll bring this over here. Let's go to Nano Banana. What we want to do is we want to attach our brand identity, this one here. I'm going to do some mockups of like this logo basically on like a hoodie or a billboard, something like that. So let's pull that in here. So let's say let's find like a billboard mockup as well. Actually, let's just take let's take this one from here. These mockups are like available, like widely available. So if you think I'm kind of stealing the image here, then that is not the case, because this is like a very this will be like a very like available like template for like a billboard, for example, that they've just sort of plugged in here with that branding. Let's open that on there and let's say create a billboard with this logo on this billboard style. Let's generate an image for that. Let's go back to ChatGPT. That is not great. So let's try this again. This is not working as well as it usually does. Let's say create an icon in the same pixelated style for let's do it for something a little bit more interesting. So let's go back to Flux. What icons have they got here? We've got like a globe, a crown, money, a pin, the home icon. I am going to go for let's go for like a crown here. What we're trying to do is like get to a point with ChatGPT where we can successfully like replicate this style of icon quickly and easily with the same like prompt format. And then once I've found a way to do that, I'm going to then be able to do that for all of the icons that I create here. And this kind of gives you a prompt and a reference that you can save to kind of do that for anything at any point. So it's a really good way of kind of doing this. I'm going to make this look a little bit better, a little bit nicer actually, because this looks kind of a little bit basic at the moment. So let's do that up there and actually put some text in. So like your AI first finance partner. Let's reduce the size of that. Let's reduce the line height here as well. Minus 100 doesn't work. I want to actually reduce the line height on this text here, which is not actually working here in Recraft for some reason. So we're getting our brand identity basically pulled together here, and now So let's go back to ChatGPT. Okay, so it's created an image of a crown in this style, which I like. Let's paste that. Let's paste that on here. That is, we can remove the background of that. So I should add that to the prompt to like remove the background. Remove the background. There we go. Let's put this with our other icon here for our icon set. We've got a mock-up. Now this has put Bloom like on this billboard exactly with this illustration. So it's kind of like combined it quite nicely, but it's kept the text like the same. And it's kept the illustrations and stuff the same here. So we kind of actually don't want that. So let's do one of these here. So let's just add this as a reference in here. Let's go Nano Banana, add attachment, add this image here, and then let's add our Bloom brand. So let's say create a billboard mockup using the attached branding on the billboard image. Remove the content on the billboard and just show the brand logo. Let's generate this. Let's do another icon in here. We can just keep going in the same chat now that we've found this style that works, and we can add in transparent background on here for so I'm going to create an icon in the same pixelated style but of a user with a transparent background, and I'm going to do user because like a user icon, it's like your profile kind of icon, something like that. It's going to come back here hopefully. What have we got? Nice. Okay, so we've got this now. We now got this mock-up of Bloom. That's perfect. I want to create like a device mock-up here as well. So let's create an image and let's find like an iPhone, like a nice like iPhone mock-up. Let's do this one here. I really like this one. It's super nice. Let's get a bigger version of this. Let's copy this over. I'll screenshot this. Put it back into it. Let's choose Nano Banana again. And let's add the logo and then this iPhone mockup. And let's copy the prompts that we had here, but just change some of the words because that worked. So let's create an iPhone mockup using the attached branding on the iPhone screen. Remove the content on the screen and just show the brand logo, and let's see what happens here. We've got pixelated style of a user, that's perfect, and I'm going to do one more icon after this. Perfect, look at that, beautiful. And let's do one more icon here. Let's do one more icon, but do this for a wallet, but of a wallet with a transparent background. I'm going to get rid of this. I'm going to remove the background from this so that we've got clean kind of board here with our assets on, and our brand identity and logo. We vectorized this, didn't we? So let's remove that. Let's keep that up here, and we can export that. And now we've got an icon of our wallet. Let's paste that in here. It's a little bit strange, I'm not going to lie, but that's okay. We can update that if we need to later. That's our wallet. So there is our $10,000 brand identity, and we can take this brand identity and use this as a foundation for our app that we're building, for our landing page on our website, for any ad creative that you might be doing. And you can use Nano Banana just by taking examples of ads that you like or websites that you like and getting Nano Banana to put your branding on that thing using this kind of brand style here, and using ChatGPT, a combination of ChatGPT and Nano Banana and tools like Recraft to actually create your brand that is nearly on a level with some of these $20,000 plus brand identities that are being created for startups. And if you kind of practice doing this, you can get to a point where your design taste will get up to the same sort of level of this. And what we've got now is actually like a really strong brand for a startup called Bloom, with all of these things figured out here. We've got like consistent styles as well, and it aligns with our target customer. So we've got a logo, we've got a logo mark, we've got two fonts, we've got a primary brand color, we've got a color palette, custom illustrations, custom icons, consistent styles, and alignment with our target customer. And then all we have to do is apply that to our website and app. And what I'm going to do in a follow-up video to this is actually to show you how to take this brand identity and turn it into a prompt that you can use with tools like Lovable and Replit and Claude Code and Cursor and all of those vibe coding tools, so that it will build your app in the exact style of the brand that you've created here. So let's finish up. To give you an idea of the time this has taken, it's now 47:56, so we're going to stop it there. Basically just under 47 minutes to get a professional looking brand identity, and we've managed to do that in just 47 minutes with AI using Recraft, ChatGPT and Nano Banana. And this is something that you can do for literally just like $12 for signing up for Recraft. It's pretty wild if you know what you're trying to achieve and what you're kind of going for here. And hopefully that has helped you see how you can create a $10,000 brand identity for yourself using AI. So you can see how easy it is to create a brand identity from scratch using a great reference from an agency that does really, really good work that is worth the money. But if you don't have that money, you can create a very similar brand identity, not stealing the work, but using it as inspiration and using these AI tools to guide you through setting up all of the things that you need for your brand identity. And you can do that in under an hour. And this is such a fast way to get your minimum viable brand, to get the first version of your brand identity so that people trust you, so that you come across like a legitimate product and like a legitimate company that people are willing to kind of pay and sign up for your app for. And this will just elevate everything that you're trying to do tenfold with a really, really strong brand identity. And if you have any questions about this, just ask them down in the comments below. As always, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you are building an app with AI, or you've got an idea that you want to turn into an app, I have a community helping people just do that, which you can find out more about over at school.com/AI apps. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.
Build great products. Build great products.